Hello and welcome back to Getting There, where we're always surviving, we're sometimes thriving, and we are just trying our best to make it. I'm Amanda, and I'm here with my co-host.
And I'm Ellie, and this podcast is produced by her campus at Loyola University Chicago. So we are officially heading into finals week here at Loyola, so for this episode we wanted to talk about how our finals are going to look this year and just share a little bit about how we prepare for them. And we know for most college students, finals week is like the most stressful week of the semester, and I think a lot of us are really burnt out with academic fatigue already, which we talked about in our last episode.
Yeah, definitely.
So I know I'm just ready for the work to be over with. But Amanda, how are you feeling with the end of the semester coming up?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely with you there. Online classes have been a really tough adjustment for me to make, and I'm definitely just ready to check everything off my list and just kind of be done with it for the semester. I have actually enjoyed quite a few of my classes this semester, so I'm a bit sad that those are ending. But for most of my classes, the end literally could not come soon enough. It's been a lot.
It's hard.
It's been a tough semester for sure. And I am in desperate need of a nice long Christmas break to just refresh, not have to worry about anything, and hopefully come back more prepared for online classes next semester now that I've kind of dipped my toe in a bit. But yeah, Thanksgiving break is such a tease.
I know, because I took the whole week off of just I probably did a total of 2 hours of homework over that break, and then I had to readjust back into doing my classes, doing schoolwork. It was such a tease having that break and then having to go back into your class routine.
Yeah, and
I hated it.
And even though it is a break from classes, there's still assignments and deadlines looming over you the whole time, so it's not even really that relaxing. And then you're out of it for a week.
I'm still getting emails.
Yeah, you're out of it for a week, and then you gotta get right back into it for finals.
Yeah. So. It was really hard to just relax, even on the time that I did have off, because I was oh my God, my school's still emailing me. My professors, still expect me to turn things in on time. I can't just throw in the towel now.
Right.
I have 2 weeks.
As badly as I wanted to, that is just not an option.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been rough. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying some of your classes, though. Which ones have you enjoyed the most?
Yeah, I have an English class this semester that I've really loved. I've loved all of the books that we've read for this class, and we meet synchronously on Zoom, and we just have really good class discussions, even though we're over Zoom and not in person. I just have really appreciated the way that my professor has facilitated class discussions and stuff like that. So that one I am definitely sad.
Hope it's not on forum posts.
It's not forum posts. That's what's so great about it.
Thank God.
So yeah, definitely sad for that one to be ending, but I'm sure there will be good classes in the coming semesters as well, so.
Yeah, we have hope. We're very positive over here.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying our best.
Yeah. Well, what do your finals look like? Because I feel like us as juniors and seniors have kind of a different end of the semester. I don't want to say routine, but the process is just different. As when you're a freshman or sophomore, you're taking mostly general classes. Right. Your tier 2, sociology, theology, science, those kinds of things. And I feel I spent more time studying for or memorizing hardcore facts and stuff for an exam period, but now I'm doing more project-based things. For sure. Yeah, what does your schedule look like then for finals week?
Yeah, definitely same for me. I only have one exam this semester, actually. I am in an environmental science class this semester that is a core class, but the final is optional depending on how well you did on the other exams in the semester. Ooh. So I am not taking that. But I do have one other exam that I do have to take, but then I have 4 projects that are due, which is I don't know how I feel about projects versus exams, because they both have pros and cons. Projects are just a lot of planning that you have to do, especially one of them for me this semester is a group project, so there's a lot of coordination that's involved, and you really have to set time aside to work on it and to get it done. However, it is nice to just turn it in, because you can turn it in early if you are that kind of person. I am likely not going to do that.
There's a little more flexibility.
Yeah, and then you can just you can just check it off your list and you'll be done with it. So that's nice. Whereas exams, like, there's a lot of the same kind of, like, prep period, but then there's the stress of, like, having to take the exam. So.
Yeah, because I find, like, test taking itself, like, is a skill. Like, you have to kind of calm your nerves and able to like, recall information and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I always thought that was the most stressful part of finals. Like, it wasn't the fact that I had to, like, memorize all this information. It was that I have to, like, go take a test and, like, sit in a lecture hall full of, like, 200 students, like, all being silent and, like, taking the same test. Like, it's very, very stressful. Oh, yeah,
definitely.
So I don't like it because of that. Yeah, but I'm, like, such a type A person that I really like, I don't want to say, like, black and white things, but I'm like, okay, I know, like, all the material when it's, like, for a test. Like, I've taken detailed notes throughout the semester, so I usually am so much more, like, or less intimidated to prepare for those than I am for, like, a project, because the projects usually have some sort of, like, creative foundation, and you have to, like, actually spend time, like, thinking of an idea for it.
Right.
And that can be hard.
I have found, though, that I feel like you have probably experienced something similar being ad PR, but especially for journalism and some of the other communications classes that I've taken, like, the stuff that you learn isn't necessarily in an exam format. Like, I'm in a design class this semester, like, doing layouts for newspapers and stuff, and I don't know how we could possibly have an exam for that. So, like, that's why why we're doing a project for that class, and I think a lot of my other classes are similar in that way.
Yeah, my visual communication classes are very much like that, where it's like you are creating, like, a final piece, like a final, like, product of, like, art, basically, as, like, the end assignment, because they can't test you on, like, oh, how well do you know Photoshop?
Right.
Like,
exactly
that kind of thing. Yeah, it can be definitely, like, fun to, like, work at your own pace a little bit too with projects, and I feel like I've learned a lot about, like, my own style of, like, I guess, project management, like, how I do them, which can be rewarding.
Yeah, I agree. And it's nice to just, like, make a little checklist, all the components that you need to do, and, like, once you do them, you can... I feel like I've said it, like, 5 times already today. Like, I'm a big list maker, love checking things off.
Yeah. Sometimes I write down things I've already done just to check them off.
Oh, me too.
In my planner.
Me too.
Especially if I feel, like, really unproductive, like, that day that I haven't done enough. I'm like, okay, I ate breakfast, checked it off the list.
Yes.
Like, everything.
Yeah. Honestly, if that works for you, like, I don't see a problem with that.
Why not?
I do the same exact thing. Yeah. And it makes...
I love it.
It makes days a little bit easier.
Yeah. So great. Well, I feel like this week is one of the most stressful weeks for college students. Like, I feel like it has this big, I don't know, not stereotype, but, like, there's just such a, like, energy around finals time when people are usually just so stressed out and, like, just at their wits' end. But because we're, like, not on campus right now, I haven't, like, seen that kind of, like, vibe from people because I haven't seen anyone.
Right.
So it's such a weird, like, experience to have, just because in, like, semesters past, like, the energy on campus would be so different. Like, people would be packed in the IC. Yeah. Like, people who hadn't gone to the IC all semester would go to spend all-nighters.
I know, and I was so pissed when I could never find a seat at the IC. I'm like, listen, I've been coming here all semester. Like, this is my territory.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I definitely...
But yeah, can we talk about, like, the stress of it and, like, how unhealthy it is for students?
Oh, it's
like,
so unhealthy. I remember freshman year, like, first semester, when it came finals time, my academic advisor said that she has literally had to take students to the hospital for consuming too much coffee and not enough, like, food and water. Like, that's how much stress is put on students, that, like, they feel like they need to just be constantly going through this entire week with no breaks, and it has some disastrous effects. Like,
that's crazy. I drink, like, a lot of coffee, so I'm, like, thinking, how much would it actually take to go to the hospital? Like, that's probably so much.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I need 3 cups a day to even function as a normal human being, so... to put me in the hospital would be quite a bit of coffee.
Yeah, that is crazy though. No, I just think there's, like, a stigma around, like, the week. It's like it has to be something that's super stressful, and it has to be, like, difficult or hard, and, like, I just feel like that doesn't need to be the case. Like, I don't think that has to be, like, realistically what everyone's week looks like. Like, if you have, like, good study-taking skills and you prepare ahead of time, and, like, also if you, like, have already been doing your classes and, like, paying attention and stuff, I don't think it should... I mean, I don't think it needs to be, like, such a stressful thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I definitely agree with that. And I feel like, I don't know if it's because, like you were saying, we don't have the on-campus energy right now, but I actually feel like this finals week is, like, one of the least stressful ones that I've had. So I'm grateful for that this semester, I will say. But I think it's because I've prepared, and, like I said, I have projects that I've been kind of, like, gradually working toward all semester, and so it's just kind of like a natural progression kind of thing. Right. And I think I'm definitely going to take this, like, this energy, this, like, strategy that I've created into future semesters, because if every finals week was like this finals week, I would be so happy.
Right. Like, I think I would be so much more successful if, like, everything felt, like, so at ease as I do right now, you know? I haven't actually been stressing that much about it. Like, I feel like I have enough time to get all my projects done. Right. Like, yes, they're hard projects and, like, I'm doing hard things, but I feel like I have the time to, like, get it done, and I'm happy about that. Yeah. Yeah. But I still feel like there is a lot of pressure to, like, produce something that is, like, your best work. Oh, a lot of times.
I definitely agree. With that.
Like, to get the good grade and, like, all of that, and I just don't have the motivation to really be, like, at my best right now.
I, for so long, have put so much pressure on myself that I need to, like, perform perfectly on every exam, and it's like, if I don't know this, like, tiny little bit of information, like, I won't do well. And it's just, it's hard to function that way. It's hard to think that way. And it just never... It just puts so much pressure on yourself. And that's one of the things that I think I haven't done so much this semester, because with, like, online exams and projects, there's resources available to me. Right. So I am definitely putting less pressure on myself this semester. But I've definitely been there.
Good. I feel like, it's never, like, a healthy, like, thinking pattern or thought pattern. Like, it just sends me into spirals of, like, oh my God, am I not doing enough? Like, am I not doing this right? Like, all of that. And at this point, like, I just don't need to be questioning, like, my ability or, like, my capability to do it, because I know I can. Right. Like, deep down, you know? And it doesn't have to be perfect, because nothing's perfect. I focus on perfection just way too much.
Yeah, I agree. You know? I agree. And I'm always the person that's telling my friends, like, you don't have to do perfectly, like, your grades don't define you, like, put your mental health first. And then I'm over here in the IC at 3 a.m. drinking too much coffee. Like, I am such a hypocrite in that way.
No, same. I'm like, if my friend, like, came and told me they, like, did bad on a test or, like, didn't get the grade they wanted on, like, a paper, like, I just know I would be so compassionate to them. But with myself, I'm like, oh my God, I got, like, a B-. Like, are you kidding? Yeah. Like, I would just take that and, like, I put that on myself, like, it's my own, like, fault. Yes. When, like, in reality, there could be so many other factors as to why I didn't get, like, a perfect grade. Like, it doesn't always have to do with you either. Like, the professor could just be really tough. Right. Or, like, maybe you didn't understand the concept as well as you thought because they didn't teach it to you as well as, like, they should have. Like, it could be so many other things.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be, like, a personal failure.
This is a fun little story. A couple of weeks ago, I'm in a contemporary critical theory class for my English major, and it's hard. It's just, like, it has challenged me in a way that classes have never challenged me before, because it's very theoretical. It's not, like, concrete, and it's a difficult thing to grasp. And I ended up calling my dad in tears a few weeks ago because I had not done well on 2 quizzes in a row, and I was like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I don't know, like, this is just the hardest class that I have been in so far. And not that it's, like, a lot of work, but like I said, it's difficult to grasp, which is not something that I've ever had an issue with before. And my dad just said, look, like, you're not going to get everything. Like, that's just not a realistic expectation to set for yourself. And if you know that you have put the work in and that you've done all that you can do, bad grades are just going to happen. And that's okay. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that is something that I have really never considered. But it's so simple. It's really as simple as that. If you're putting in the work and and you know that you're doing all that you can do, then it's just going to happen. And then I later discovered that my professor is dropping the 2 lowest quizzes. So
heck yeah.
Saving grace.
So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Yes, that's amazing. I love that little story. It's like a good reminder that, like, yeah, it's just a grade. You know, it's not really a representation of, like, how hard you worked or how much growth you've shown. Like, those are the things that count the most, not just, like, the score on a test.
And my dad was a computer science major in college, and he's told me so many times that, like, and my mom was also actually a computer science major in college. Not at the same college, though. But anyway, they both have individually told me that, like, they failed some of their computer science classes, and, like, that was their major, and that was what they were, like, passionate about, and they failed them and had to retake them, and, like, look at where they are now. Like, they're successful, like, adults with jobs, like...
Right.
There's just,
that makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. There's just so much pressure in the moment to, like, perform perfectly. I think you really have to step back and think big picture. Like, is this one final really gonna, like, affect my career later on in life? Like,
right. I also think about my GPA a lot, which people, like, it was a big deal in high school because, like, you had to sometimes have a certain GPA to get into colleges.
Right.
And I know, like, in the real world, like, your GPA is not as important. People are looking for, like, your experiences and, like, your skills and stuff. But for some reason, like, my brain's like, that shows that you're smart. Like, that's what I tell myself all the time. And I'm like, it's not a real, like, measurement of how intellectual I am.
Right.
I know that factually. But sometimes I just feel like it's a really important thing, and it causes me a lot of stress.
Yeah. It's definitely easy to fall down that rabbit hole, for sure.
Yeah.
Same with, like, test scores and stuff, especially standardized tests.
Yeah.
Like, it's so easy to think that number defines your intelligence, but it really doesn't. Like, there's so many more things that go into it.
Yeah. Sometimes I just wish all that stuff could go away. I'm like, I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, I agree. Times were easier when I didn't think about that kind of stuff.
Yes, and all I thought about was... like, if one of the One Direction boys would tweet today and I would miss it. Like, that was what I was worried about. Like, genuinely.
Those were the days. Those were the days,
man. I, like, made my roommates watch a Harry Styles music video last night, and they absolutely loved it. It was the Golden music video.
Incredible.
And I just, like... when I, like, tell people about Harry Styles, like, I feel like I'm showing them, like, a secret or, like, something, like, so close to my heart that it's, like, so personal because I love him so much. Like,
I seriously...
One Direction.
I have feelings for him. Never met this man in my life, but I literally have feelings for him.
Never. Oh, my gosh. I actually came across, like, one of my old Facebook posts from when I think I was in middle school. And it just popped up on, like, my Facebook memories because it gives you, like, a timeline and stuff like that. It was probably from, like, 8 years ago, like, so long. And it was something I had posted about, like, hey, like, if you guys don't like One Direction, like, you just need to tell me that you don't like me talking about it. Like, I don't appreciate anyone making fun of me for liking Harry Styles. Like, it was something to that extent.
Oh, my gosh.
Because I remember I was so obsessed with them. I would talk about it 24/7, and people started to get annoyed. They were like, you can't possibly love him that much. And I was like, you're wrong.
Listen.
You're literally wrong.
That's so sad, though, that people would, like, make fun of you for liking One Direction.
No, it was kind of messed up. And my friends, if you're listening to this now, I don't blame you. I think it was just one of those, like, times in your life where everyone's going through puberty and, like, liking certain things was cool and liking other things wasn't cool. You know what I mean? So people were judgy.
Yeah, I can see that.
I still lived out my One Direction days to their fullest. Yeah. Nonetheless.
I hated Justin Bieber for no reason other than I thought it was cool to hate Justin Bieber. And now I look back and I'm like, you know what? He had some bops. Like, he had some good music.
Yeah, he was not bad. Similarly, people hate on Taylor Swift a lot. And I have a lot of words to say about that because I'm a huge stan of hers. But I think people have hated on her for, like, no reason in the past. And I think as an artist, like, that just comes with the job.
Yeah.
Like, people aren't gonna like you. But what would you say, like, what Harry Styles song represents your mood for this final season as we're going into it?
Ooh, I love this. Okay, so my Harry Styles song for this semester would be Canyon Moon, specifically for the line, staring at the ceiling, 2 weeks and I'll be home. Because that was me.
I love that. I'm very impressed that you recalled that line.
That actually is one of my favorite songs on the album. I think it's very underrated.
Really?
I mean, obviously the whole album is perfection, but I'm a big fan of that one, and I think it doesn't get as much attention as some of the other songs.
I agree. It has a really, like, catchy and, like, upbeat tune, which I appreciate as well.
Yeah.
Like, compared to some of, like, the slower, like, sadder songs, which are also good, but a little depressing.
Yeah.
I would say if I had to choose one, I'm going to go with Fine Line because I think it's the last song on the album.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
And this is, like, our last week of the semester, finals week, and, you know, the lyric will be all right.
Yeah.
I like that because I need to remind myself of that thing right now.
I love that. That's such a good one. Yeah. What about One Direction song?
If I had to choose a One Direction song, I'm gonna take the other path and say Heart Attack because I still have anxiety about the week ahead.
Yeah,
and
that's
finishing the semester. So Heart Attack.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like earlier I was like, oh, I am feeling good about this finals week. Like, yeah, I'm feeling good, but I still have anxiety. Like that. Don't know if I touched on that, but it's still present. So based off of that, my One Direction song would be Ready to Run because I am ready to run away from my responsibilities.
Yes, I love that. I think we need to celebrate by listening to all of One Direction's discography as soon as we're done with finals.
Yeah.
What day is your last final project?
Okay, listen to how terrible this is. I only have to take one exam, and that exam is in the 4:15 p.m. Saturday slot. Like...
Oh, the last slot of finals. That's the worst.
Yeah.
I remember having to do that too, and it was the last one, and I was a sophomore, and I was, like, moving out of campus housing because I was going abroad the next semester. Mm-hmm. So my parents were here to, like, pick me up. Like, we were packing up all my stuff, and, like, I had to leave to go downtown to take this, like, final.
Wait, stop. The same exact thing happened to me.
Yeah.
First semester, sophomore year, I was moving out, getting ready to study abroad.
Oh, my God.
4:15 p.m. downtown. Yep.
That is terrible.
We're living the same life.
The school of calm, man. Yeah, we are living the same life. Oh, yeah, we need to talk about going abroad on one of these podcast episodes.
We really do.
Our cultural experiences.
Yeah, I had a very unique abroad experience since I was...
Yeah, I think people need to hear that.
Spring 2020, baby.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy.
Anyway, all of this Harry Styles One Direction was just to remind you that sometimes you need a break from finals things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm thinking about getting, like, some of my friends' Harry Styles inspired Christmas gifts.
That would be amazing.
Christmas shopping online. Yeah, it's been, like, my saving grace. It just is such a nice relaxer.
Oh,
I put on my blue light glasses.
Yes, wearing them right now.
I scroll on my computer. Yes.
I spent so much money on Black Friday on online shopping, and it was literally all for me. I didn't buy any gifts for anybody else.
Oh my God. No, that's amazing, though. I think we need to normalize giving ourselves Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally agree.
Why don't we do that?
I totally agree.
Yeah. I need to buy one right now. Maybe I should buy one. I've seen these Harry Styles candles where it's like, I don't know what it's like the Virgin Mary, like, on a candle, but it's Harry Styles' face.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's so funny. Like, I don't know if that's really sacrilegious, but I want it. Like,
I want to get one with Dolly Parton on it.
Oh, yes. She's such a queen.
I love her.
Love Dolly Parton. I saw something about, this is really random and off topic, but I saw something about how, like, Hannah Montana is based off of Dolly Parton's life. because when she is, like, in her hometown, she, like, doesn't wear her wig and, like, dresses, like, normally and stuff like that. But then, obviously, she wears a wig and is, like, Dolly Parton when she's, like, a performer. And I'm like, okay, so it's just Hannah Montana.
That's so
Like,
funny. Oh, my
they're
gosh.
the same person. Yeah, and Dolly Parton is also Miley Cyrus's godmother.
Yes.
So it's just full circle.
Yeah.
So full circle.
What a great episode.
Yes.
We're really just
Miley
reverting.
Cyrus also dropped a new album.
Did she?
Yeah, and it's really good. Yeah, should listen to it.
I heard her cover of Heart of Glass. Is that what it's called? Heart of Glass?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I, like, didn't know any of the words in that song until I heard her sing it. And I was like, oh, I can actually hear, like, specific words in this song.
Same. No, same. And now I find it so much more enjoyable that I can hear the words. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just reverting back to my middle school One Direction loving self at this point.
Yeah, same.
Like, that's what it's like going home for, like, a break.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just know I become my high school and middle school self again.
Oh my gosh. I was literally, when I was at home over break, I was telling my roommates this earlier. I can't even remember what it was, but I was reading something that was like, oh, you have to be 18 years or older. And I was like, oh, darn. And I was like, wait a second. I am literally 20 years old. Like, why am I still... I think it was just the energy of being home.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Sometimes I forget I'm, like, legally old enough to drink, too, when I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, thinking about how, like, I could go to the liquor store and buy myself alcohol if I wanted. Like, that's something that I just never think about doing when I'm at home because that was never allowed in high school, you know? So crazy. It's
when
weird.
I was coming back.
And you still have, like, all of your childhood, like, things in your room that remind you of your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So...
That is specifically why I came back to my apartment for these 2 weeks, because I just knew that I would not be able to, like, do any of my projects or perform well on exams if I was in my childhood bedroom. So one of my roommates lives probably like 20 minutes away, so we carpooled together. Guess what we listened to the entire ride back to Chicago? One Direction.
What was it? Yes. Okay, well, what's your favorite album out of all of them?
I think 4.
4 is solid. It is actually maybe my favorite too. It's a close tie between that and Midnight Memories for me.
It's hard to...
I just remember when Midnight Memories dropped, like, I was ecstatic. Like,
same.
I knew it was going to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just amazing. But 4 is also, like, so good.
It's hard to
when
pick
they dropped
a favorite.
Steal My Girl.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The music video with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, everyone needs to go watch the Steal My Girl music video with Danny DeVito. It is literally a cinematic masterpiece.
They really did that.
They literally went out in the desert and Danny DeVito was like, okay, we need to have a bunch of random stuff here. Like, everyone just do random things. Random flash mobs. Like, it's just chaos, but it's so good. And the best song ever music video, though, that's my favorite, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That one's really cute.
Such a storyline.
I do like that one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've asked you. I feel like I have, but I don't remember. Who was, like, your favorite, like, of band members? Like, were you a Harry girl or, like, a Niall girl?
I was definitely a Harry girl. All the way. For sure.
Okay. Love to hear it. When I first started out, I was a Liam girl.
Oh, really?
And yeah, very surprising, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's probably my least favorite member, if I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I love you, Liam, but, like, he's gone through some questionable phases since the band broke up.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm Harry girl all the way. I remember, like, having a Harry Styles cardboard cutout in my room in high school.
Oh my gosh.
And on Harry's birthday, it was like his, I don't even know, he was probably young, like 20 or something birthday. I had all my One Direction fan friends, like, come over to my house. We had, like, a cake for him. Like, we celebrated his birthday with my cardboard cutout. Like,
That's
I have
the
a picture
greatest
of us all,
thing
like,
I've ever
gathered
heard.
around him. Like, oh my god, I love you, Harry. It was so funny.
That should be our next
Like,
per campus event. Is a Harry Styles birthday party.
Yes. Oh my god, I would love that. No, I love planning parties and stuff like that too. And I was like, I obviously have to celebrate my boyfriend's birthday, Mom.
Right,
Like, get him
duh.
a cake. Like, she was like, what the heck, Ellie? Also, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night and, like, see a giant cardboard cutout in front of me, and it would look like there's a person in my room. So I would be like, oh my god, I'm so scared. And then I'd be like, oh my god, it's just Harry.
Oh, it's just you,
No
baby.
Just him in my room.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Did you ever, like, I don't know where there was one. There was a 1D store at Mall of America. And I'm from Minnesota, so I remember, like, in middle school, they had, like, a pop-up store, and it had all this One Direction merchandise, and it was such a big deal. And my friends and I, like, we got picked up from school, like, one of her moms, like, drove us to the Mall of America, and we all, like, wore our One Direction shirts and, like, went in and took all these pictures because they had all of this merchandise everywhere, and it was just such, like, such a cool experience. I remember, like, crying in the middle of the store.
That sounds amazing. I wish I could have experienced that.
I feel like they opened up the 1D stores in, like, New York or something as well.
Yeah,
and we were
probably
really lucky to get one at Mall of America. Yeah, it was crazy.
In Minnesota. I love that.
Yeah, in Minnesota. I also remember going to a One Direction concert in Chicago because I think it was for Midnight Memories. They toured and they didn't come to Minneapolis, I think. So my mom and I just took a trip, and, like, I had no clue that that's where someday I would end up going to college, right?
That's so fun.
Like, I was exploring the downtown area, like, going to see One Direction, and it was so cute. Like,
I love that. Such good memories. I didn't actually get to go to a concert until the Where We Are tour. Was that the last one? Or was it? Oh, no. It was On the Road Again. On the Road Again. And so Zayn...
Oh, yeah, On the Road Again.
Zayn had left at that point. Sad.
Yeah. I remember seeing them when Zayn had left. I think it's so impressive that they carried out the tour without him. Like, when he dropped, like, mid. Mm-hmm. Wow. So much work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still really good. Like, they're great performers.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're actually so talented because listening to them live, like, you would think it was a recorded album. Like, they're so good.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like people, like, questioned the fact that I was listening to them when I was growing up. Like, I have uncles that have, like, really, like, kind of, like, an older music taste, and it's refined, and they were like, what is my niece, like, doing obsessing over this stupid boy band?
Yeah, there's such a stigma around, like, boy bands.
Yeah,
ever since, like,
teenage girls liking boy bands.
Yeah, ever since, like, NSYNC and Backstreet Boys that were, like, kind of auto-tuned, I feel like everyone thinks that boy bands now are just, like, no talent, like, only in it for the looks, but, like, One Direction is so talented. Just, like, same with 5 Seconds of Summer.
And that they're all just, like, a passing, like, craze or, like, a fad kind of thing. Like, they're gonna have, like, 15 minutes of fame and then they're gonna fizzle out. I think that's, like, the stereotype as well. But One Direction had sustained fame for years.
5
and they
albums.
Still do. Their fandom is huge. Yeah. Crazy. But I think we need to end that little, like, trope of, like, teenage girls can't like boy bands and these boy bands can't be talented.
I know.
Like,
I agree.
Like, we need to do better.
And I feel like that invalidates, like, both the fans and the performers. Like, let's stop doing that. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, let's stop doing that.
We are ending the stigma around boy bands.
Any more middle school girls to make sad Facebook posts like I did 8 years ago, okay? Let them love what they love. I love that.
I love just the progression of this episode from finals and anxiety to our sheer love of One Direction. It makes sense, though,
I'm,
you
like,
know?
thinking, like, how do we... It does, because One Direction is, at the end of the day, what gets me through most things. Harry Styles, at least. I love him. Yeah, make a playlist that includes all of One Direction's discography, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
All right. Well, if you got this far in our episode and listened to us rave about One Direction for about 15 minutes, we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for entertaining this little finals distraction for us.
Exactly. Thank you for listening to Getting There. Once again, I'm Ellie.
I'm Amanda.
And this podcast is produced by Her Campus at Loyola University Chicago.
See you next time.